The U.S. Senate refused to ratify the Kyoto Protocol, the international agreement by which countries committed to reducing greenhouse gases. There were something on the order of 190 countries that were parties to that agreement. This is interesting, by the way, separately. I had to look up what party to an agreement means. This is a technical term. It means that these countries signed and are legally bound to it. The U.S. is a signatory, which sounds like more than a party. It's actually less. To be a signatory means that you agree with the principle of the thing, but you're not legally bound by it.
So we agree in principle, but we're not committed to doing anything.
Right. So we've got the U.S. not legally bound by the Kyoto Protocol, and then along comes the Paris Agreement. The U.S. is a party to the Paris Agreement. The Trump administration has repeatedly threatened to withdraw from it. But the interesting thing about the Paris Agreement is it has no teeth. So here we are legally bound to this document that gives no penalties to countries that don't live up to the agreement. So that's the background. And this is the thing that's fascinating. A report came out recently by C40. This is an organization, a network of large cities worldwide that are committed to addressing climate change. And in this report is listed the 30 major cities worldwide that have peaked their carbon emissions. That is, their carbon emissions have reached a maximum and are now turning around and coming back down. Of all these 30 major cities worldwide, 1/3 of them are located in a single country. Guess which one?
What country might that be, Ant?
The United States.
Come on, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't comport with everything I hear every day on the news.
Isn't that fascinating? We hear about we aren't parties to the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement has no teeth, and yet we're the one country that has the most cities that have reduced or are reducing their greenhouse gas emissions.
How did that come to pass?
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. But as an economist, one of the things that I keep pointing out is if you have enough people interested in something to the extent that you can start to move legislators and get legislation to pursue this thing that you want. If you've got enough people who want that thing, they're going to make their presence felt in the marketplace long before their presence is ever felt in the political sphere.
Right. And this gets us to something that we talk about every now and again. Probably we should talk about it more. Legislation is a lagging indicator of what's going on. So if you, in fact, have a critical mass, critical enough that you can pass legislation with a certain amount of ease, you probably don't even need to pass the legislation.
That's right.
Because people's behaviors will already conform to the standard you would be looking to impose on everyone.
And in this case, what's happening? People are concerned with greenhouse emissions, so companies that have low greenhouse emissions are advertising such, and consumers are buying from them. Cities are looking to attract these companies, and what you get is this market movement toward reduced greenhouse emissions.
And what you typically get in times like this, and I'm not saying you're going to get it this time, I'm just saying you often get it at times like this, is you get legislation that actually comes to make things worse. That if we had just done nothing, we'd have been so much better off because of the move already afoot.
And here's a perfect example of that. We did nothing. We weren't parties to the Kyoto Protocol. The Paris Agreement has no teeth. And yet here we are, the #1 country on reduction of greenhouse emissions.